In the Oval Office shows Norm Macdonald as President Biden sleeping at his desk. John Belushi, as Biden's chief of staff, enters the office, knocks on the door and says, "Mr. President?" Macdonald raises his head and says, "Eh?" Belushi, "The deputy director of the CYA would like to speak with you." Macdonald, "Eh? CYA? Is that song by those village people?" Belushi, "No, Mr. President, that would be YMCA. The CYA is a new branch of the federal government to help us, tie up loose ends." Macdonald, "Like my shoelaces. Can never seem to get those darn things tied." Belushi, "No, Mr. President, more like what we are going to do about your opponents in the upcoming election." Macdonald, The election? Who gives a hoot? That's Barack's problem. I just have to sit back and look pretty." Belushi, "Again, Mr. President, you are no longer vice president, you're the actual president." Macdonald, Me? Who elected me? Belushi, "Mr. President, that would be over 81 million people, sir." Macdonald, My God, that's a lot of votes for a vice president. Belushi, "Again, Mr. President, those votes were for the office of the president. The deputy director of the CYA is here to see you now." Phil Harbin, as deputy director of the CYA, enters the office. As Belushi leaves the office, Macdonald stands up and says, By God, as I live and breathe, if it isn't Jimmy Hoffa. Now, I thought you were dead." As Harbin shakes Macdonald's hand, he says, "I'm not Jimmy Hoffa, Mr. President. I'm David Burns, deputy director of the CYA." Macdonald, Well, sit down, Jimmy. Sure, we have a lot to talk about. As Harbin and Macdonald sit down, Harbin says, "That we do, Mr. President. Now, starting with Trump, our plan is quite simple. We have the plethora of court cases." As Harbin talks, shows a thought bubble over Macdonald's head where he is thinking of the village people singing YMCA. As the bubble pops, Harbin says, "And that should work to get Trump out of the race well before November. But our other point of emphasis has to be on taking out Robert Kennedy." Macdonald, Didn't you boys take him out back in 68? Harbin, "That was Robert Kennedy Sr., Mr. President. I'm referring to Robert Kennedy Jr. Macdonald, He's got a junior, huh? God love him. Harbin, "Yes, and you've known him for 35 years, and now he's running as a third-party candidate." Macdonald, Third party? Isn't that Ross Perot fellow's job? Helped us take out Bush Sr. Harbin, "Yes, that was 32 years ago, but now our fear is that RFK Jr. will take away votes from you." Macdonald, Well, we can't have that, so make a new plan, Stan. Harbin, "Well," Macdonald, "you don't need to be coy, Roy. Hop on the bus, Gus. Just drop off the key, Lee. Slip out the back, Jack." Harbin, "Mr. President, if I may, we at the CYA have a special plan for RFK Jr. that worked really well on his father and uncle." Macdonald, And what's that? Harbin, "Well, I don't think I should need to say explicitly what that plan is, but let's just say we can take him on a parade in Dallas or to the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles." Macdonald, Now, are there going to be any young lady accommodations at this hotel you speak of? I don't remember the last time I got off. Not that I remember much of anything these days. Harbin, "Sir, I mentioned the hotel in reference to RFK Sr. In any event, all we need from you is to make sure you don't give RFK Jr. any Secret Service protection, and then we should be in the clear." Macdonald, Now why would I give someone Secret Service protection who was killed back in 68? Harbin, "Very good, sir." Belushi re-enters the office and says, "Mr. President, it's the Prime Minister of Israel on the phone. It sounds urgent." Macdonald, If you'll excuse me, Jimmy, I gotta go help the Jews with their Mexican problem. And Dead from the Earth, We're Not Alive. It's Saturday Night Alive, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, John Oakes, Norm MacDonald, Gilda Radner, Denitra Vance, and with many other special deceased contributors. Musical guest and host, Robert Guillaume. Everybody, Robert Guillaume. Applause, applause, applause. Shows Guillaume on stage who says, Thank you, thank you. I was an actor and singer. I played Benson in the ABC television series Soap and its spin-off Benson. I also voiced the mandrill Rafki in The Lion King and played Isaac Jaff in Aaron Sorkin's dramedy Sports Night. Applause, applause, applause. Guillaume. And in its 8th season, I hosted Saturday Night Live. The producer of this show has asked me to repeat part of my monologue from SNL on this show, as he feels it's just as appropriate now as it's ever been. If you'll indulge me. You don't have to make a fuss over me. I'm glad to be here tonight. But I can't help wonder just why I am here. Is it because I'm Benson? Is it because I'm French? Or is it because, heaven forbid, I'm black? I knew it. It happens all the time. The producers felt guilty, so they thought Bob Guillaume. Well, actually, first they thought black. Then they thought Bob Guillaume. No, that's not exactly true either. First they thought black, then they thought moderate, then they thought Bob Guillaume. And they were right, because that's what I am, a moderate. I believe in moderation. In fact, I insist in moderation. I'm tired of right-wingers who think they can blow up the world, and I'm tired of left-wingers who think they can blow up banks and airports. What the hell's the difference? It's not okay to blow up people, not even some of the people you don't like. There's too much polarity in the world. I want some moderation, and I want it now. If I don't get some moderation, and I mean quick, I'm going to bust some heads. Are you with me? Moderation now. I'll tell you what. Let's march to Washington and tell them we want some moderation, or we're going to burn this mother down. I'm a radical moderate, and I think you people are too. So I want everyone in this audience to just rise up out of your seats. Get up, stand up. Now I want you to repeat after me the code of moderation. I believe in moderation. Audience, I believe in moderation. Guillaume. Moderation in politics. Audience. Moderation in politics. Guillaume. Moderation in government. Audience. Moderation in government. Guillaume. Moderation in moderation. Audience. Moderation in moderation. Guillaume. Bob Guillaume is a handsome man. Audience. Bob Guillaume is a handsome man. Guillaume. Okay, so that was my SNL monologue, talking about moderation. That's appropriate to bring up now because looking down on all of you from the afterlife, shit, you motherfuckers are on the brink of a civil war. Try some moderation, goddamn. Anyway, we have a great show tonight. I'm also here as a musical guest, so get ready for some songs from Guys and Dolls. We'll be right back.